High in the mountains of northern Thailand, in the notorious Golden Triangle, the fortunes of a remote hill tribe are turning. Gone are the dark days of opium farming. In its place, a crop that is both legal and lucrative. And thanks to Canadians' thirst for what they have to offer, the people of Doi Chaang are at last raising their village out of poverty. We are a coffee-loving nation. The average Canadian consumes nearly 1,000 cups every year. But increasingly, we're demanding more than a heady aroma and full-bodied taste. We want to know that the people who grow our beans are being paid fairly for their work. People like the Akha of northern Thailand. In a place called Doi Chaang, the Akha Hill tribe has been growing and harvesting high-quality Arabica coffee beans for 20 years. But in spite of their hard work, discrimination, and unscrupulous coffee brokers have kept them from rising out of poverty.
These people is nothing worse than a dog. Okay, they look down. That's why, the children, they're not to go to school. I may say, even teachers, they just look down at our people.
Wicha Pramyong, a successful entrepreneur originally from southern Thailand, came to Doi Chaang village 10 years ago in answer to an Akha leader's request for help.
We had a problem here in Doi Chaang. We weren't being paid very much for our beans, and we couldn't go down to town to sell them. That's why I went to see Wicha.
They couldn't go to town to sell their crop because they didn't have Thai ID, a document required of those born without proof of citizenship. And since the Akha were not born in city hospitals, but in their mountain villages, they had few, if any, rights.
Just few of them that has the ID card. The people that have no ID card, the Thai ID card, you cannot go anywhere. You just have to be here. You go down, the police take you to the prison already.
The Akha are no strangers to hardship. Living within South Asia's Golden Triangle, they were for decades opium farmers. At first, they grew and processed it legally for medicinal purposes. Then the drug traders arrived.
This one is Indian rupee. At that time, we have two kinds. This is about 96.5% of the silver that they used to trade for opium all over in this area.
Wicha keeps a small museum filled with artifacts from those dark days, which came to an end when the King of Thailand asked them to stop growing opium poppies and offered replacement crops like coffee, something they were still struggling with when Wicha arrived.
I don't know anything about coffee, so I asked him, just wait, give me time to study about coffee. So I took like 7 months to study about coffee.
While studying in Bangkok, he learned that the Akha were being paid a mere fraction of what their beans were actually worth. It was an injustice he mentioned to Porn Prapa Boon Musik, a businesswoman he met at a coffee exhibition.
I think, they have potential to go international. Not sure the Thai market here is not enough for them. They should let people around the world know the good quality in Thailand, in Doi Chaang.
Up to now, Thai coffee wasn't known for its quality. Supercharged, bitter-tasting Robusta was pretty well the only bean grown in the country. Wicha decided that before tackling the international market, he would have to win over his own countrymen, something he would do by creating a chain of Doi Chaang coffee shops.
We have chance to show the people that how the coffee is. If you put in the bag and put on the shelf like that, nobody buy it. At least they have chance to taste it, so they know this is good coffee.
In a few years, the business grew from 1 to 300 shops. Now it was time to take on the world. But they would need help, and Porn Prapa had just the man in mind. John Darch, a retired Canadian mining executive who had conducted business in Thailand for over 20 years.
I said, John, you got to see this guy, Wicha, and you wouldn't believe what he done to Thai coffee.
She told me that I should meet an individual called Vichai, who is a cross between a hippie and a monk, and a guy who had decided to make a commitment to help an unknown hill tribe create a world-class coffee.
And so a meeting between John and Wicha was arranged.
He's good. He's a kind man, you know. When I talk to Kun John, he never talk about money. He talk about, okay, he will find the way to help our people. This is what I like.
Before long, they reached an agreement. John would create the Doi Chaang Coffee Company, based out of Vancouver, and would pay the farmers beyond fair trade prices for their beans. That's 50% more than fair trade.
And in addition to that, give them 50% of the Canadian company, which my family would fund 100% of.
Just 3.5 years later, Doi Chaang Coffee is appearing on Canadian shelves and in Canadian coffee shops. It's even being sold by Harrods in London. The company has yet to turn a profit, but these are early days. In the meantime, the farmers are being paid fairly for the first time in their lives and using their earnings to grow their business.
When I first came, we have just only about 200 acres. Now we have more than 8,000 acres together. The whole village, 99% grow coffee. Everybody work in the farm, work together. That's happy.
I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to see if by taking the coffee to North America and introducing it, that I would be able to add to what Vichai wanted to do, build on his vision.
And in so doing, help the Akha to help themselves. The monsoon season is finally relenting in northern Thailand. Now that the sun's making an increasing number of appearances, the coffee cherries are starting to turn red, a sign that they're ready to pick. The Akha Hill tribe has come a long way since Wicha Pramyong arrived 10 years ago, devoting his full-time efforts, free of charge, to help these hard-working people grow and sell their high-quality Arabica beans, not just in Thailand, but in some of the world's top coffee-drinking countries.
I even promised that one day we will go to sell in America, in Europe, in Canada, all over. That's since the first year that I promised them.
From the moment retired Canadian mining executive John Darch set foot in Doi Chaang village, he was determined to turn Wicha's promise into reality.
They are very poor people, even in their own country. Until very recently, they've never been acknowledged. They are a displaced society.
All they asked for was a fair price for their beans, and Darch's newly formed Doi Chaang Coffee Company was doing that and then some.
When I first arrived, Vichai brought me along to the washing plant where he produced the coffee. And here it is, a very, very small plant, very limited capability.
But in the last 3.5 years, the production and the facility has grown, so much so that Darch's son has come on board to help.
Since we've been involved, the amount of money we can generate in Canada has allowed the farmers to expand their washing stations, expand their drying stations.
The new facility can produce 1,700 tons of coffee beans a season, 6 times more than just 2 years ago. Here, the coffee cherries come from the hillsides to be washed. The ones that float are rejected and turned into fertilizer. The ones that sink move on to the pulper, which separates the sweet flesh from the beans within.
So after 2 days of fermentation, you wash it properly, and now you use the fresh water, the fresh spring water, soak it for 24 hours, that to clean it properly.
Next, the beans are dried. They used to shake the water off in large baskets by hand. That was before Lipi designed and built this shaking machine. Lipi has the ability to create all sorts of things the village couldn't otherwise afford. Because years ago, unlike most Akha, he gained the required documents to leave the mountain and work in the city.
Whatever you see here is come from everybody in the village, especially the one that go to work in town, in the garage, in the factory.